Chapter 1. Nikola Tesla was a peculiar inventor, genius polymath, and the most important contributor to commercial electricity. Hardly anyone has contributed more to electricity and magnetism in the late 19th and early 20th centuries than Nikola Tesla. The alternating current, AC, the polyphase power distribution system, and the AC motor are modern products based on Tesla's patents and theoretical framework. You cannot talk about the second industrial revolution without giving credit to him. Tesla was an inventor that derived satisfaction from discovering and creating solutions. He was never motivated by fame or money. He abhorred manual labor, but thrived on exercising his intellectual prowess. Humans are usually more creative in their formative years than when they become adults. Tesla admitted to not cultivating his childhood instincts and impulses as he grew older. He believed that he would have made more impact on the world had he not conformed to the systematic procedures of adulthood that stifled creativity. Also, he compared himself to his brother, who died prematurely due to an accident involving the family horse. Tesla believed that his achievement paled in comparison to the ingenuity of his brother. Yet, any time he did something extraordinary, his parents imagined what life would have been like had his brother survived. The fact that Tesla's ingenuity provoked sad memories in his parents affected his self-confidence. Another factor that militated against the full exploration of his potential was the disagreement between him and his father about his career choice. His father wanted him to become a clerical officer, while his desire was to become an engineer. Tesla believed the genetic imprint of an inventor came from his mother, while the strength of his memory came from his father, who trained him to recite long sentences, perform mental calculations, and spot errors in forms of expression. In this summary, you'll gain insight into the thought process of Nikola Tesla, discover the biological and environmental factors that contributed to the career path he chose, and learn vital lessons that will stir your creative mind. Did you know? It was not until 1943 that the United States Supreme Court acknowledged him as the inventor of the radio. Chapter 2. Nature and nurture combined to develop Nikola Tesla's inventive skills. From a tender age, Tesla had shown signs that he was a different child. From his appearance, discerning persons could tell that he was witty. His father, Milutin Tesla, received military education but chose to work as a priest in an Orthodox church. His mother, Duca Mandic, was notable for her knack for making home crafts and mechanical appliances. Nikola Tesla was born on July 10, 1856, in modern-day Croatia. He was the fourth of 5 children by his parents. His older brother, Dane Tesla, died in an accident involving the family horse when Nikola was 5. Dane was a child prodigy, and losing him affected the entire family. In fact, Nikola Tesla felt the urge to curb the display of his genius as a child because each time he tried to do something extraordinary, it reminded his parents of his brother. His father taught him to develop his memory by rote memorization of classics and mathematical rigors. His mother came from a long line of inventors. Together, they molded Nikola Tesla into the genius inventor he turned out to be. We are a combination of our genetic markers and our childhood environment. Despite the privileges surrounding Nikola Tesla's birth and development, he didn't tap into his potential until much later in life. Apart from the death of his brother, he suffered great discomfort and anxiety from the fact that his visualization was vivid. He could see the image of words spoken vividly in his mind, and he couldn't tell the difference between tangible and intangible images. The theory I have formulated is that the images were the result of a reflex action from the brain on the retina under great excitation. Nikola Tesla. To deal with these visualizations, Tesla began to concentrate his mind on new images through mind travel. Each time he was fixated on a vision, he would create new visions to keep himself from getting anxious about the first image on his mind. These visualizations continued till age 17, when his thoughts began to morph into inventions. Thus, instead of the experimental approaches of regular scientists and inventors, Tesla employed the capacity of his mind to materialize inventive concepts and ideas in his work. Chapter 3. Tesla's mind was so powerful that he invented things in his imagination before creating them in the real world. The imaginative work of Tesla's mind made his method different from his contemporaries. This gift gave him an edge because he didn't need to get to his shop to test ideas. He could run them in his mind and detect flaws in them without lifting a finger. By the time he moved from ideation to creation, the result was always what he anticipated. To him, the trial and error approach was nothing but a waste of time, energy, and money. Another peculiar feature of his visualization was that it trained his observation. He could pinpoint the source of an impulse. This ability enabled him to connect cause and effect. Every thought that humans conceive is usually in response to an external stimulus. To change your thoughts, you need to change your environment. Tesla figured that it would be possible in the future to create automatons that would act on their own to carry out activities in a perfect manner. This conception could have been the first shot at robotics and artificial intelligence. At age 12, Tesla successfully achieved the willful banishment of an image from his vision. However, he could not control the flashes of light he experienced. On one occasion, he visited a French manufacturer in Paris in 1883. He was invited to a shooting expedition. From the moment he got to the city, he experienced uncontrollable flashes that did not diminish for over 3 weeks after he had left. After a while, he understood the pattern of the flashes. Whenever he was about to sleep, images of persons and objects would flash before his closed eyes. If he couldn't see the images, he would not be able to sleep that night. Did you know? Nikola Tesla violently responded whenever he saw earrings of women and pearls, and was fascinated each time he saw objects with sharp edges and plain surfaces. Chapter 4. It is vital to train the mind and body if we are to achieve great goals in life. As a child, Nikola Tesla had a weak temperament. He was extremely superstitious and could hardly control his fears. He found solace in reading books. One book that helped him exercise control over his feelings was Autobiography by prominent Hungarian writer Johnston. He exercised control over vices like gambling, smoking, and excessive consumption of coffee. After a while, his passions aligned with his will. The development of character is cardinal to becoming great in life and solving human problems. We live in a distracted age, and the constant influx of information creates an attention deficit and endangers human life literally and metaphorically. So Tesla had to learn the power of introspection from an early age. To get our minds and bodies to function properly, we must pay attention to our diets. Taking coffee, tea, tobacco, and alcohol in excess can be detrimental to the functioning of the brain. Tesla maintained the same weight for 35 years because he had learned to train his appetite. Keen observation and resourcefulness are essential traits of an inventor. Tesla called these traits an inventor's instinct. Twice, this instinct saved his life. On one occasion, he was stuck underwater and kept hitting his head against a plank each time he tried to come up for air. When he was about to pass out, he instinctively figured he could get some air in the tiny gap between the plank and the top of the water. On another occasion, water from a dam nearly swept him away. To resist the push, he placed his hands on the walls of the dam. Just when his grip was weakening, he saw in a flash a hydraulic principle that the pressure of a fluid is directly proportional to the area exposed. With this knowledge, he turned on his side to reduce the water pressure until he could escape from the dam. Chapter 5. The primary motivation of an inventor is to save lives or make life easier to live. Tesla's earliest attempt at an invention was the design of a fishing hook and a technique for catching fish, although at first he used the equipment and the method to catch frogs. He designed pop guns and carved wooden swords before he was 6 years old. Shortly after, his family relocated to a nearby city called Gospic. There, Tesla attended the normal school in preparation for his studies at the real gymnasium. While in school, he was fascinated by water turbines. He constructed and operated many. An inventor harnesses natural energies to serve man's purpose. He was admitted into the real gymnasium at age 10. He was exceptional at math and was fascinated by physics experiments. Freehand drawing was a subject he disliked, and it almost railroaded his academic career because it was a required subject. By his second year, however, he had been able to accomplish mechanical flight by harnessing the energies of a vacuum. Tesla took ill close to the end of his study at the real gymnasium. It was so severe that doctors couldn't do anything to make it better. Eventually, he got better and attributed his recovery to Mark Twain's books that he read on his sickbed. He resumed his studies at the higher real gymnasium in Karlstad, Croatia, where he spent 3 years living with his aunt. It was at the school that his physics professor aroused his interest in electricity. At the end of his studies, his parents wanted him to join the clergy. He revolted and refused to return home. Subsequently, he took ill to the point of almost dying. When his father visited him, Tesla made him promise to allow him to study engineering. His father agreed. After taking a bitter concoction of a peculiar bean, he got better. Tesla's father insisted that he spend the year following his recovery in outdoor activities to strengthen his body and mind. He came up with creative ideas throughout this time, but lacked the adequate background knowledge to implement them properly. True to his word, Tesla's father sent him to the Polytechnic School in Graz, Styria. Grateful for the opportunity, Tesla invested himself in his studies. He worked from 3 a.m. till 11 p.m. and aced his courses with flying colors. Chapter 6. Tesla discovered the rotating magnetic field that his professor declared impossible to design. Nikola Tesla's academic prowess endeared him to his tutors, particularly Professor Poschel, the chair of theoretical and experimental physics, and Dr. Ali, his integral calculus tutor. When Tesla shared his instincts about the rotating magnetic field with them, Professor Poschel was emphatic about the physical impossibility of such rotary effort. As humans, we have perceptions that defy logic or any form of reasoning. Tesla believed that it was important to follow those perceptions to see where they might lead, instead of allowing our existing biases and the limitation of our knowledge to prevent such expeditions. The motivation is the possibility of stumbling on something truly magical. At first, he was discouraged by his professor's assertion, but his gift of visualization made him continue his investigation. In 1880, Tesla proceeded to the University of Prague, Bohemia, to continue his studies. This move helped him make considerable progress in his journey toward inventing the rotating magnetic field. It is important to always listen to your instincts more than authority figures, because you never know what you might discover or invent. Again, he suffered one of his perennial illnesses, but something different happened this time. His sight and hearing became extraordinary. He saw further than anyone could see and heard sounds fainter than anyone could hear. The sound of a fly landing on a table was like a thud in his ears. He could hear thunderclaps from over 500 miles away, and he had to use rubber cushions on his bed if he was to get any rest at all. His pulse rose to as high as 260 beats. He could feel the tiniest vibrations on the ground. He became 13 times more sensitive than the average person. This hypersensitivity supplied the missing piece to the puzzle. Like a flash of lightning, the vivid image of the motor came to his mind. You could say he almost paid with his life to make this invention possible. This newfound state became the norm for him. He got more ideas flooding his mind than he could document. Did you know? Nikola Tesla's knack for completing whatever he started made him read almost 100 large volumes of Voltaire's works. Conclusion: Nikola Tesla was an enigma who lived many centuries ahead of his time in terms of his inventive ideas and mental prowess. He met and formed a close relationship with Thomas Edison when he came to America. He formed the Tesla Electric Company in 1887, and it became the ground for bringing his visualized motors into reality. When he encountered obstacles to operating the motors, his inventive ideas were engaged, leading to the development of the Tesla coil and transformer. One major challenge he faced was when his invention of the turbine threatened the heat engines. Those who had made billions of dollars from the latter generated stiff opposition against his attempt to create a more efficient system. His primary motivation was solving human problems and not lining the pockets of industrial lords. He conceived a plan to transmit electricity without using wires. His conviction was that the energy in nature could be tapped and transmitted with the right apparatus. The magnifying transmitter was invented to accomplish this feat. In what he dubbed World System, Tesla designed a means for wireless and economical transmission of electrical energy. Sadly, the world was not prepared for such inventions, so they did not become widely accepted. The World System combined his important inventions and discoveries, such as the Tesla transformer, the magnifying transmitter, the Tesla wireless system, the art of individualization, and the terrestrial stationary waves. If the world system were activated, it would create a way to connect telegraph exchanges around the globe, provide a secure line for government telegraph service, spread news around the world instantly, transfer intelligence meant for private use, distribute music around the world more easily, help marine navigation without needing a compass, and so on. In retrospect, it is clear that Nikola Tesla's inventions were ahead of time. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. Try this. Nikola Tesla believed in the power of introspection as a way to keep a healthy body and mind. Take some time daily to tune out the noise from the external world and pay attention to what's happening within you. Document ideas as they flow into your mind. You can never tell where your instincts will lead you.